Back with Rowan Hand here, your host for another hour and a quarter. On Destination Newry, and our programme is Good Morning, Newry and Mourne and the World. Out of the heart of Newry, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, and we do hope you'll join us. What we think to be an eclectic mix of music and musings. Coming shortly, I have for you members of the Newry Writers Group. Ordinary folk of Newry, well, Newry folk are not ordinary, they're always extraordinary. And they certainly have so many, many tales to tell. And they're captured between the covers of a wonderful little book called A Rake of Yarns. A rake of, whatever that means, a rake of yarns. Maybe it's a garden rake that you pull things in with. You rake the things together. A rake of yarns, that's it. But before we go to the authors of Newry Writers Group, my man of Warren Point joins me here, Jim Boylan. Good morning to you, Mr. Boylan, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
Not too bad.
I'm told that you had the enjoyment of the Foresters last evening.
I unfortunately did, yes.
Is that the Foresters in Warren Point?
It is, yes.
Yeah, people across the world will remember that because we have many Warren Point emigres as well as Newry.
Yes, well, up in Newry you had the Foresters and the Hibernians.
Yeah,
so
you're that.
Yes, I like to support all our clubs in Warren Point.
Of course. And we're happy to tell people that the bridge has opened. That right?
Oh yes, there's just opened there today, the one in
the Victoria Park in Belfast.
Yeah.
So we thought, yeah. But actually, we're edging our way towards an announcement, are we not?
I think it could be very, very shortly. There's a meeting of the North-South body in Dublin today that the First and Deputy First Minister and the Taoiseach are going to be at.
And that's happening today.
That's happening today. It's mainly about youth unemployment.
Yeah.
But with youth unemployment, that comes into the Narrow Bridge because we have to think of the employment that's going to involve.
But do you think, are they not more pragmatically in government? Are ministers, chief ministers and deputy chief ministers and Taoiseach, are they not more likely to say, well, it's a matter, we're not going to talk about that, it's a matter for the minister responsible, Danny Kennedy, we'll let him get on with it?
Well, it is a matter for the minister.
Will the headmen not wash their hands of it then and leave it to him?
Well, it's like being in business, isn't it? And if you're the CEO of a top firm and you have your deputy managers all down there making their own choices, and something has come stalled, surely a good CEO will come in and say, well, look boys, we need to move on.
But Jim, you're not saying it is stalled, are you?
No, I'm not saying it's stalled, but I'm just saying how business works and how in this country especially how we can get tied up too much in red tape.
Yeah.
And you just need to keep pushing forward. Yeah. You can't stop anyway. You have to keep going, keep going.
Having said that, there's a huge expectancy in Warren Point that the news is going to be good.
Oh, the expectancy is amazing. Most people in Warren Point think it's there, think that the job's going to start, and doesn't understand that this small final hurdle needs to get over.
You see, it hadn't really struck me until I thought a little bit more about it, but quite apart from all of the tourism and everything else, there is an area of simple natural justice. And the simple natural justice is to unite communities on the island of Ireland, North Louth to begin with, Louth, North Louth, South Down, Mourne, two communities with their natural hinterland.
Yeah,
because each should naturally cleave to the other, lean into the other. And they're doing that.
If you go into Warren Point now and you see the amount of building work that has gone up over the last 30 years and how much Warren Point has expanded, that is our natural hinterland. That's the only way we can go is across the loch. Yeah. And like for years gone by, there was always that happening, But down now that the ferry boats aren't there and that, so is that we do need a bridge that will
at a different level, but a traditional level. You have there with Brendan his annual Red Star ferry boat back on the run between Warren Point and Omeath.
Yeah, and that's all needed. Once you take that in the whole of the island of Ireland, but especially in Northern Ireland, the east coast, our east coast of Newry and Mourne, and if we're taking more Warren Point, Kilkeel, and that is the hidden jewel of tourism. We have a lot to offer there. And it's not only when the bridge happens and when it starts to be built, we need to be starting now to make sure everything's in place, that when tourists come, that there's things there for them, and that.
Well, there are tourists coming, Jim, there are tourists coming to Warren Point next year on the Saga Pearl. They're coming in courtesy of the Stewart Company, coming in, the first of, they hope, other cruises that will stop at Warren Point.
And that's why it's important to get this whole thing right, and to make this first cruise something special, and to pull on sort of a fence that will make these people say, well, once they go home to their families in the UK or wherever they're from, saying, oh, we were in a lovely wee place in Northern Ireland where the mountains more and sweep down to the sea. Warren Point, you should go there, you should spend a couple of days, tour Warren Point, tour the moors, go over the bridge and tour Cooley.
You know, it rings, it just trips off your tongue magnificently.
Oh, thank you.
There's a superb mellifluosity to your use of language there, my dear fellow.
Oh,
that just trips, just you go across the bridge and enjoy Louth and all the way down to the Boyne Valley and Newgrange, and then come back along the plain of Mahevna and back across the bridge again and into the Mourns, and from the Mourns into North Down, the land of Lake Al. You and I could write the tourism brochure.
Yeah.
It would be very...
Well, I think it would be more your writing than mine, because mine isn't very good.
But one of the area of objections, the mussel men were saying, 12 mussel boats were saying, look, you're going to take our livelihood away from us. Has that been resolved yet, do you know?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think there's, I know they have said that, but I think that's very strong language, because we're talking about the livelihood of other people too, the hotel owners who have invested big money, the bars who have invested money, the businesses who have invested money. We're even talking about the businesses here in Newry, because Newry will benefit in a big way from this bridge. The whole area will. So you have to come down to the greater good
of the community.
Of the whole community. And if the bridge is up there in the morning, that will not stop the mussel fishing.
No.
You know, it's like me going out in my business saying, oh, I can't have somebody else opening it up because it's going to affect me. No. You have to work harder. You have to get over these hurdles.
Well, there's a couple of ways of getting over that hurdle for the mussel men. A proper arrangement for the opening of the bridge that would be convenient and proper for them.
Yeah.
That's one thing, that the bridge should open as necessary, when necessary, in accordance with the wishes of the mussel men.
That's there.
And that's the one thing. The second thing is, goodness gracious, isn't Carlingford Loch big enough to allow them to fish to their heart's content in the prehistoric way that they choose to fish? And by that I mean dredging the loch. So, and they're putting down mussel beds there, and they're fishing those mussel beds. So what I can't understand is why it's necessary for mussel fishing to occur in the Narrows specifically.
Well, what's been said to me, and it seems to be a widespread feeling in Warren Point and other areas, is that the loch has been damaged by these people. You know, our loch, our natural loch that has been there since time immemorial, is now been damaged and will take years to get it back. So, you know, there's arguments on both sides, but I and my colleagues in the Narrow Bridge Committee want this compromise there. And I know Newry Moore and Louth County Council have compromised. We have compromised. We have listened to them. I don't see their problems being big problems.
No.
Their problems are solved. But I say again, when it says that there could be up to 40 jobs at risk, which I don't think is the case, what about the 400-500 jobs plus that would be at risk if the bridge didn't happen.
Really, we're saying that the entire economy, and I hope Danny Kennedy, you're listening today, Danny, because there are very important points being made here. How do you weigh the interests of half a dozen or a dozen muscle boats here against an entire community and the entire economy of a community, the economy of the 12 against the economy of an entire community? And my suggestion is that the economy of the entire community should embrace and welcome the economy of the 12.
Yeah, which they are doing. There's no, but when you take that, come next year when the bridge is being built, like there's going to be 329 jobs starting off with. That's 329 wage packets that will be invested in this area, as some of course, and we are still in an economic recession. Like they're talking about the UK coming out of it in England and Scotland and that. Well, we usually follow 18 months behind.
Yeah.
We are still we're still deep in that, and those jobs are vital for pulling a bit of money back into the community, spending money that we're able to do our area up, that when tourists come, that would be the income.
So if Danny is watching us this morning, good morning, Danny, please give us the bridge.
Yeah.
If you have a moment for your party political broadcast now, and you're going to speak for 1 minute, your best call to Danny Kennedy, right down the lens now to Danny, what would you say to him?
Well, I know Danny's an honest man. I know he's going to do his job, and it's just that in business we need to move on. So the sooner something's signed, the sooner the contractors are in, the sooner all of us can work for the greater good of our own area. I know in the Narrow Bridge Committee, and I know in the Warrenpoint Chamber of Commerce, there is no selfish interests. There's no big gains for anybody in person, but there's a big gain for the whole community, for the community as a whole, and not only the community in Newry, but the whole community of Northern Ireland and the whole community of the island of Ireland. So it's just a matter of, we need to get on with it. The decision needs to be made, and we need to get the bridge built as soon as possible.
And I can tell you, Danny, if you decide in favour of the bridge, we shall all regale you with a rousing chorus of, for he's a jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, he's a jolly good fellow, and so say all of us. Sean, proper music, please. Thank you so much. Go.